Today we are talking about taking responsibility for our lives and not that of others. We are reading from the book of First Kings, chapter 19. It's a story about the king of Israel, Ahab, and his wife Jezebel, and the prophet Elijah. Let's read here together. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, also how he had executed all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, saying, "So let the gods do to me, and more also, if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time." And when he saw that, he arose and ran for his life and went to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a broom tree, and he prayed that he might die and said, "It is enough." An angel touched him and said to him, "Arise and eat." Then he looked, and there by his head was a cake baked on coals and a jar of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again. The angel of the Lord came back the second time and touched him and said, "Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for you." So he arose and ate and drank, and he went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights as far as Horeb, the mountain of God. Very well. So here we are talking about the prophet Elijah, who had in the previous chapter overcome the biggest challenge in his life. Famously, he witnessed fire coming down from heaven. He defeated the false prophets. And here, in a moment where he had a moment of burnt out, where spiritually he collapsed, we could say. He had a spiritual meltdown. And we'll be discussing and meditating on that during this week in the next 3 days. But what I want to focus on today is the very first verse that we read. And let's recap that. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, also how he had executed all the prophets with the sword. You know, we're going to have our family events coming weekends on the 20th and the 21st of September. And let me highlight that for you: empowering families. And I'm just thinking about the dynamic between the husband and wife, Ahab and Jezebel. They were a couple, husband and wife. Ahab was the king, and it was his responsibility to speak to Elijah. If he wasn't happy about something, then he should be the one to address the problem. He should be the one to communicate with Elijah and express his dissatisfaction or his unhappiness. But instead of using this responsibility, he sent an indirect message to his wife. He didn't tell his wife, "I'm upset with Elijah. I'm angry with him. Please teach him a lesson." scold him, but it was this kind of indirect message that was very vague, very unclear. It was his responsibility to deal with the problem, but he didn't deal with the problem personally. He put the problem in the hands of his wife, asking her to solve the problem. But it wasn't her responsibility to solve the problem. I'm just thinking about family in general. Sometimes there's a problem in the family, and the wrong person is carrying the problem. The wrong person is solving the problem. The wrong person is taking responsibility for the problem. So we know that in every family, there are different roles, different responsibilities. It's unfair for all the responsibilities to be on the shoulder of one person. So I'm talking about the husband here, Ahab. He transferred his responsibility to his wife. But it can be from brother to sister, from children to parents, from parents to children. There are many different ways responsibilities can be transferred. But not only I'm thinking about Ahab, who transferred the responsibility to his wife. I'm also thinking about the wife, Jezebel. She took the responsibility of the husband without complaining. It was not her responsibility, and she ended up carrying out the responsibility of her husband. So, where it was an opportunity for her husband to excel, for the husband to learn and grow and mature, for the husband to use his authority, gain experience, deal with the problem, learn a lesson, because she resolved the problem. I don't want to go into detail what she did because we're going to talk about it later on, but I want you to understand that she dealt with the problem, whether right or wrong. She didn't give a chance for her husband to take ownership of the responsibility. So here you have two problems: the husband transferring the problem, transferring the responsibility, and the wife uh, taking the responsibility that was not meant for her to take, not giving him a chance to learn and grow. So both of them made a mistake. And often this happens in families unintentionally, not on purpose. Sometimes it just happens because we don't think further. We don't look at the opportunity to learn. Sometimes it happens because that's how we grew up. Sometimes it happens because we think that we do our partner a favor. We think that we are doing our family a favor, whereas in fact, we are not doing them a favor at all, but we are taking away their blessing.
I'm also thinking because the role of the wife is not to make matters worse, right? So when the king came to her and speak about the problem, it was a moment for her to think like this: okay, we failed. Okay, Elijah, they made the challenge. He overcame the challenge. He proved that the Lord is God. He also made prayed, and the rain came back, right? And then he killed the prophets. So it was a moment for her to say, okay, we are not dealing with just anyone. He's a man of God. We have to be careful, because otherwise the curse will turn to us. But instead of that, she took action that she should not. So when she heard that, it was a moment for her to speak to her husband, to bring sense to his mind, to support him, in a sense, bring him in the right track. But unfortunately, she was not a woman of God. Right? So what happened? He came and inflamed Jezebel with his, I don't know, brokenness, and inflamed her. But you can see this sometimes happens in families. Sometimes parents, they have a disagreement. They don't agree with each other. The marriage is not working, and then they go on and inflame their children.
Mm-hmm.
They start to speak things that, instead of resolving the problem, makes the problem even bigger. So we have children that hate their parents, because, or the father or the mother, because they have been inflamed by one of the parents. So we learn here that we have to be careful with whom we open our hearts, because we may just be creating a situation that is far worse than what it is. So when we have a problem, like you said, we have to deal with it ourselves. And if we can't deal with that, we have to be careful with whom we speak about that, because we can make our problem even worse.
Yeah, because now he's involving his wife, and now you have two people that are venting, two people that are angry, two people that are upset. In short, when you have one person with a problem, and if they open up their problem, but not in the right way, they open up about this problem just to vent their frustrations. Now you have two people that are frustrated.
And that's why you see so many problems in the family, so much hatred within families, because of that, what one said and the other don't say. And then speaking out to people who are not supposed to be involved, like, for example, wife and husband, involving their parents in their marriage problems. So what is that? Making the problem worse.
Yeah, if you have a problem between husband and wife, and then you open up to your parents, and you're venting, you're frustrated. Now you're creating inside of your parents as well ill feelings, and they are not able to solve the problem. Your parents not able to solve the problem between husband and wife. But now, instead of two people that are frustrated and angry, now you got four people that are frustrated, or six, because the in-laws. But you see how delicate this is, how we choose to deal with our problems. I always believe in this: if you have nothing good to say, it's better not to say anything at all. If you have nothing constructive to bring to the table, then it's better to remain quiet and silent. Because by opening up and just venting, you are multiplying the frustration. So here, today, we would like you to take the following away. Have you been transferring your responsibilities, your authority, your God-given authority, your role to someone else? Have you been transferring your problems to someone else, someone that cannot solve the problem, someone that is not appointed to solve the problem? Or perhaps have you taken on board responsibilities that are not yours, problems that are not yours, and you may have solved these problems, with a good intention, but you have not allowed that other person to find the solution by themselves, helping them to grow, mature, helping them to develop, helping them to gain experience. In that case, if you have taken their problems on board, you have actually taken away their blessing, because their problem was an opportunity for them to learn, overcome, and be victorious. Okay? Meditate on that, reflect on that, and remember, this weekend, we're going to have our empowering family event, a special blessing for over OFW families and the whole community. All families are invited. Okay. We're going to be back again tomorrow with our meditation as we continue going through the book of First Kings, chapter 19. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you all abundantly. Bye bye.
Bye bye.